What do you think of winter gardening? Sounds boring? Well, wait until you see what I pulled out of the ground this month. Golden turmeric, homegrown sugarcane, and a quick start to spring. Namaskaram, I'm Srideep and welcome back to Blossom Your Way, where we focus on growing what matters in your garden, your home, and your life. July in Adelaide might seem quiet, but there's still so much happening. This month, I tackled winter weeds, refreshed the soil, pruned for spring growth, and harvested some pretty unique crops, including turmeric and sugarcane. Plus, I've started seed sowing for an early spring start. So let's dig in. Before we get into the details, let me take you on a quick garden tour. This is our front yard garden in the heart of winter. 4 main raised beds and a good number of pots, all in their resting phase right now. This is bed 1, now empty after we removed the strawberries that took over the whole bed. I have been using this space for composting for the last few weeks, and it's also where I sowed the first seeds of the season last week. Bed 2 still has our ivy gourd plant. That's an annual plant. It keeps giving us fruit every year. So ivy gourd is an Asian plant. We use it mostly to make curries. As you can see, I've pruned it right back. I've left a few vines out so that the new growth can happen. This bed also had tomato plants. I've removed most of them. I've just left like 1 cherry tomato plant and a couple of Roma tomato plants. And as you can see, spinach plant here. That's still holding on very nicely. Bed 3 was our melon area. It had winter melons, long melons, also had watermelons, and even a surprise turmeric plant, corn, and lots of it has produced a lot of fruit and veg this season. I have cleared most of the bed. The chrysanthemums, the mum's flowers that you see there also, I have cleared it. I've moved it to another area. I'll show it to you later in the video. These are our 4 blueberry bushes. They didn't produce much fruit this year, so I'm still learning how to improve their yield. They do look healthy though, and there are few flowers already, which is encouraging. I will share with you all the tips and how I improve this bed, make it more acidic and all blueberry things soon. Here is the mulberry tree. After a good prune, it's showing lots of new growth, and there are even a couple of mulberries still ripening. Behind our mulberry tree is our guava plant. Last year it did fruit, but I removed all the fruit because this plant is only 2 years old. So I'm hoping to maybe harvest some fruit this year. This guava is in a pot, and as is this next one, which previously had tomatoes. These 2 are also empty, enriching the soil. And this is our pomegranate tree, freshly pruned. I'll show you more of that in the pruning section. You can see all over the ground, leaves and some overgrown areas. That's winter for you. And with all the rain we've had, things are a little untidy. We also had a grapevine here, but it caught a disease, so I chose to remove it instead of spraying it with chemicals. The stump is still there. I will clear it soon. This is our 4th bed, the linear bed that runs across the garden. I did plant some snow peas and snap peas, but I sowed them late June, so they're growing slowly, but I'm hoping they'll pick up soon. Now we move on to the next section of our garden. Here's our sugarcane patch. We've harvested most of it that you'll see here, but there's still a few stalks left. I hope to harvest them early August. And here's our little addition from last year, a super dwarf Cavendish banana plant. Next to it is a dwarf mandarin tree, and next to that is our curry leaf plant. I know it looks a bit yellow. That's just how the leaves look in winter. They still have amazing fragrance. And here are some few winter blooms, adding a nice bit of color to the garden. This plant next to this, it's covered full of buds. I won't spoil the color yet, but it's going to be beautiful when it opens up, and I will show them to you. These two here are our apple trees. We have our Fuji variety on the left and our Jonathan variety on the right. This is their second year. There were a few flowers that I'd actually ripped off, and one flower also fruited, so I've actually removed all of that. This is our Indian jasmine plant, which is due for a good prune too. And here we've got some random plants, a daisy, seaside daisy, a pig-faced succulent, and our moringa tree. Now, our moringa tree has seen some really good years, but last year it just felt like it died. So I've cut it right back down to hoping that it will survive this year. If it doesn't survive, I will probably remove it. Now, this is our rose section. Plenty of spent flowers that need removing, and the bushes need a winter prune as well. That's on the to-do list for August. I'm actually trying to show you the garden exactly as it is. Some areas are neat, others a bit messy, and I feel that's okay. If you're busy with work and family and can't keep your garden perfect, please don't feel bad. Gardens are meant to grow, to evolve, and to bring us joy, not to stress us out. Who says you can't sow seeds in winter? I've already got greens on the way. This month, I planned to sow a full bed of seeds, but life got busy. And with all the rain, I only managed to plant radishes. I planted 3 varieties: white icicle, pink lady slipper, and watermelon. And I feel that's okay too. It's at least a start. I'm experimenting with succession planting, sowing smaller amounts every few weeks instead of one big batch. I feel this helps to avoid that all at once harvest problem. And for small families like ours, consistent produce is much more important than large harvests. Next month, I'll sow my spring seeds, and by the time they're ready to plant, I'm hoping most of this bed will be harvested and ready. That's the plan anyway, and I'll keep you all posted. Now, because I use square foot gardening method, you can see this is like a splurge spend. You don't really need to have this. So I have this 1 feet square where it will actually tell you about spacing. I find that it is handy, especially when I'm sowing like radishes and beetroot and things like that. It really helps me to space those plants out nicely. So that's where you can see here. So I've actually sowed 16 times 2 seeds in each hole. So that's 32 seeds of radishes in each hole. So yeah, I'm planning to thin them out when they sprout. Winter pruning might look harsh, but it's an investment for spring growth. This month, I pruned the pomegranate to improve airflow and light, reducing the risk of fungal problems and pests. Here you can see I've also trimmed back the tulsi plant to encourage tender new leaves. I have also pruned our lemon tree. Though I didn't film the pruning, trust me, I feel it's looking neat. You must have had a look when I showed it to you in the garden tour. And I also cleared our third bed, which had winter melons and long melon vines. And we also had a surprise turmeric plant that popped up on its own. That bed is now ready for regeneration too. As you can see here, this is how a long melon plant can grow. That is why it was important for us to choose the beds that we did and have huge trellis structures as well, because they can get quite heavy. The plants, they just grow a lot. I feel especially with long melons, they can just grow a lot and they spread everywhere in the garden. So that's what I'm doing now, is to prune it completely. I mean, pruning is probably a nice word to say, but we are actually technically removing the plant, but I'm just pruning it bit by bit. In that way, that will give us an opportunity to actually have the bed ready for the next season. And if you have a look here, you can see that little long melon in sort of like a golden color. That was the first melon that we got on the plant, and I left it on the plant for seed saving. So I will share with you in another video how I save my seeds, and yeah, that's for another time. And the second bed, it had ivy gourd and snake gourd, all of which came out as well, while our tomato plants still looked healthy. So I left the cherry tomatoes and a couple of other tomato plants that we had in place. Quick tip: when pruning in winter, please always use clean, sharp scissors or pruners, and avoid cutting more than 1/3 of the plant unless it's for full regeneration. And now for my favorite part, harvesting. Just look at these colors. This month I harvested turmeric from pots, and those golden rhizomes never fail to amaze me. This one here was from an 89-litre pot, and you can see how root-bound it became. I was honestly surprised at how much it produced. It's our biggest turmeric harvest yet. At first, I tried digging it out carefully, but the clumps were deep and stuck together. With all the rain we have had, the soil was compact and heavy. So I tipped the whole pot over onto a tarp and gently worked through the soil to free the turmeric. We had 2 dedicated turmeric pots this season, plus 1 surprise plant that popped up in one of the beds. A quick tip: turmeric is ready to harvest when the leaves have completely dried and died back, just like you see here. That's when you know it's time. I will share a separate video soon going into more detail on how to grow and harvest turmeric step by step. The second pot was even heavier, so I had to call in my husband for backup. Interestingly, the turmeric that grew in the garden bed, the one we didn't intentionally plant, actually produced bigger rhizomes. That's got me thinking, maybe for next season, I'll grow a batch in one of the beds and keep some in pots for comparison. My hesitation before was that turmeric is a long crop, about 9 months. We usually plant it in late August or September and harvest around July, which ties up valuable bed space in a small garden like ours. But this year's surprise result has me curious. So let's see how the experiment goes. I'll definitely keep you posted. And for the first time ever, we harvested sugarcane. Cutting into it and chewing on that sweet juice was just so satisfying. My son, he took one bite and said, "Mom, this just tastes like sugar. I think we can make some sugar from this." So we had to have a little chat about how sugar actually comes from sugarcane. It was a sweet moment and reminded me why growing food is so important. Kids need to see where their food actually comes from, not just what's on the supermarket shelf. We also harvested spinach, silver beet, sorrel, and a few late cherry tomatoes. And we had our last big lemon harvest. There were even a couple of snake gourds and a final flush of chilies from our old Thai chili plant, which I finally retired after 5 productive years. If you'd like to see what I made with this harvest, please let me know, and I would love to share ideas. And since this is my first monthly garden video, I would love your feedback on what else you would like to see or learn about. Winter might look quiet, but August is when things really shift gears. That's our July garden. Pruning, soil refresh, seed sowing, and colourful winter harvest. Next month, I'll be prepping for spring sowing, boosting soil health, and starting some early flowers for pollinators. What's growing in your garden this winter? Share your tips and tricks in the comments. I would love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with a fellow gardener. And please remember, keep growing what matters. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to begin. See you all in the next video.